Alright, I just pulled this SL500 in. It came in mainly for the convertible top isn't working right. You can see it's sort of half opened. That's just in the position that it came here in, so I got to see what that's about. These are all hydraulically operated. It's a pretty complex system, several sensors and switches everywhere, and then the hydraulic rams that move the whole thing back and forth. So I'm gonna figure out what that is, and just doing a basic inspection on the rest of the car. I noticed whenever I got out of it and was walking around to the front, I could smell burning oil. So I'm curious to see where that might be coming from. But let's check out the engine bay and see if there's anything in here that needs addressing. Okay, just getting some of these engine covers off. When I was pulling up this off, I heard this crumbling. The inside of this is breaking apart. Very common as they get hot and the plastic gets brittle on that little slinky section. These are the air intake tubes, so as this breaks apart, you can imagine it gets sucked into the engine. Luckily, it's before the air filters, which are inside here, so it should filter out anything that goes in there. Should. Okay. Let's see. This seal is a common fail part. It looks good. These valve covers look a bit wet, for one. Aftermarket valve cover gaskets. I can tell because they're blue. The factory ones are not blue. Oil cap seems to be leaking. Either that or they probably just missed it whenever whoever it was filled it up. Didn't use a funnel and missed the hole there. And it's on backwards, so that bothers me. Is that seal there? I think so, yeah. Oh, the paint's all flaking off the... has this thing been repainted? It kind of actually looks like it has, the valve covers. Yeah, I think it has been repainted. Anyways. I see several things. Worm clamp on this hose. Yeah, they always break, because anytime you do valve cover gaskets, you quote out, or I always do, get replacements of these hoses, because they have to come off anyways. Oh, that one ain't even on there. That's not even the hose. This is a hose they took out of somewhere else and put it around the hose that's supposed to go onto there. I know exactly what happened. Whenever they took the valve covers off, both these hoses crack, as they always do. So does that one, because the rubber just gets hard. Anytime you have to take them off, you might as well replace them, especially with this car being a 2003, if I'm not mistaken. You know they're going to be brittle. Oh, that's definitely where the oil's coming from. Oh yeah, look, it's dripping onto the exhaust and burning off. That's where that burning oil smell is coming from. See the oil? It's dripping out of the valve cover, going onto the exhaust and burning off. So that's where that's coming from. I see the ABC suspension's been deleted. We still have this. I wonder if it's still in the rear or not. A little oil on it. I just checked oil on another car. The same rag, but... Power steering fluid. This is unhooked. And then no sensors on the struts. I assume they went out and he just deleted the hydraulic suspension and went with the conventional coil springs. Yep, coil spring and damper system. As far as everything else, I don't see anything super obvious up here. The intake manifold. Everything from this angle seems all right. Coolant is full. A little bit of coolant residue around this pipe. These get super fragile as well. Anytime you ever have to touch those or take it off to like do any other repairs around here, like if you have to take that off or whatever, 100% chance that's gonna crack. That might be just overflow from the cap though, but that looks fine. On this side too, you can see this valve cover is starting to leak pretty good as well. I don't see the top of the exhaust wet with oil, so it's not as bad as the other side, but you would do them together anyways. Yeah, everything else seems all right. It's wet down in there, like by the intake manifold, but you just can't tell if it's just from like this valve cover leaking and dripping down in there or what. So you'd really just start with taking these valve covers off, cleaning them all up, putting an OEM new gasket, and then these housings, the top ones, are sealed on. So you scrape off the sealant and put on new sealant and seal them all back together, and then clean up all the oil around the engine, and then go from there. See if there's any other leaks further down. But you can 100% confirm these are leaking, so you can start with that. Yep, everything else up here looks okay. No major issues, no other leaks from the front of the engine. And the belt could probably use replacing. It's not cracking super bad, but you can see it's starting to, see if I can get a good focus on there. You can see it's starting to crack out, like it's dry rotted in the middle there. It's a lot of fraying on this outside edge too, which is usually not that bad at all. It still seems to be middle of the pulley there. So the tensioner is probably okay, but I always replace them in pairs, or recommend them to be anyways. So it's a fresh tensioner, applying the proper tension on the new belt. Anytime I do the belt, it's a good idea to put a new tensioner in with it as well. I'll at least quote that out so we can see what the price is if he wants to consider it. All right, let's see what it looks like from underneath. Okay, two small things I noticed on the way up here. Whenever I was walking around the car, I always open the gas door to check the tire pressure so I can adjust the tire pressure if need be. And the little gas cap tether strap is broke off, I see. Probably just a rubber got dry rotted and broke off, but there's supposed to be a strap that mounts the gas cap here so it doesn't fall off whenever you're filling up. So that's broken. Also on this side, somehow, both of the lifting points are missing. That hole there, there's supposed to be a little rubber puck where you place these lift pads to lift it up that securely. Those are missing. I mean, I have a way to adapt it to get the car in the air temporarily, but you can see like a lot of this under paneling is broken off around it, so maybe they went over a bump really hard at some point and something ripped them out, but it's only on the left side, the driver's side. The passenger side, both of them are there. All right, so starting on the underside inspection. Oh, those bushings are very torn. You can see how they're cracking apart there. Oh, that ball joint's completely busted. Lower control arm ball joint. That boot is pretty bad. That's totally busted out. That one's not nearly as bad. And this ball joint boot is cracking apart though as well, which could be expected on old suspension. And then this bushing too. I would just get all of this stuff replaced then. It's probably way too soft and moves around a lot. With it tearing apart like that too, it's gonna be unpredictable when it eventually completely separates. But those are pretty deep tears, pretty dry rotted rubber there. So let's see, tie rod ends, lower control arms, and these front torsion bar bushings. Check out these bushings. Those look perfectly fine, actually. Oh, I think those have been replaced. That looks like a new bushing. That's good at least. That one definitely is not. That one's totally separated. Totally separated. Let me see if I can get an angle on that crack there. You see that rubber? That bushing's completely busted out. So basically all three of these are worn out. These shocks look okay, greasable joints. They're aftermarket shocks anyways, giant castle nut. Is that one even tight? That washer doesn't look completely flush. Let me just put a wrench on that. yeah, that's tight. I don't know if it's torque to spec. I don't even know what the torque spec is with it being an aftermarket strut, but at least it's not dangerously loose. Suspension seems like it sags further down than it should. This is all pressing on the lower control arm, and this angle's very sharp, like the wheel hangs very far down on the wheel well. I wonder if that's a combination with the aftermarket suspension and with these torn bushings, allowing it to like sag down a lot more. Because usually there's tension on the rubber, but with them being ripped out, there is no tension. So a good bit of front suspension work needed. Oh yeah, and you can see this control arm's rubbing on the other one too. Yeah, I feel like this angle isn't right. Like it's far more down than it should be allowed to be. This brake wear sensor, I wonder, oh, it broke off. So that's where, this is the bolt that's supposed to attach it to there. And you can see, it just broke off, and then someone just put a little connector in between so then your sensor never goes off when your brakes get too low. The brakes right now seem to be pretty new. So the tire's very bald and the tread's chipping. That's odd. I don't know how the suspension geometry is at all. They definitely need new tires. The front's like that too. Just odd wear patterns. I was wearing in chunks like that, but I'll definitely get new tires on it. It's worn to the wear bar, and then of course adjust the wheel alignment. Let's see. No adaptive cruise control as before all that. So I checked these tires when I was checking up or topping off the air pressure, so I know there's no bubbles in them or anything. Just kind of looking over the brake pads, making sure they're not low, since your sensor's not going to go off because it broke off. And they have this thing in there. They got a zip tie on it, but it's still dangling a bit. But you would need a new sensor wire because this is made into the wire, and a new sensor, obviously. They might be aftermarket. Oh no, there's the sensor broke off in the pad. I wonder what happened to cause it. That's the sensor right there. And there's the sensor bracket where that bolt is. So they both broke off. Interesting. Oh, moving back further down the engine, a lot of oil on this side of it. I don't know if that's dripping down from the valve covers or if you've got something else going on there. Let's see. Oh yeah. I would start with the valve covers. There's oil so far up this engine. I would really just start with doing the valve covers and clean it all off really good. Like take these undershields off, clean off all the oil from the engine, and then on the next oil change or whenever you have the vehicle inspected again, see if there's any more oil leaks further down the engine and address them one at a time that way. It may be worth taking this undershield off and checking that out. If the owner's interested in getting this stuff fixed, I'll look into it further to see if I can see any more obvious second leaks to try to knock as many out as one time as possible. See, looking over the rest of it, I saw these motor mounts look pretty aged. They didn't feel terrible in the car, but you can see how like burnt they are. Just aged looking. This one too, pretty yellow. And the trans mount, you can feel it to see if it's bad or not. I don't see any leaks on the transmission. Just no, nothing back here really. Back of the transmission looks good. Let me just feel this transmission mount. I know what it feels like more than what it looks like. Oh no, it's collapsed. I wish I could show that to you, but no, that's all the way down. I'd have to have a new one for reference to show you side by side. But basically like that distance in the rubber there, it's supposed to be way closer. Sort of the center bar where that bolt goes through, like that center rubber section is supposed to be much further up, but it's completely collapsed all the way down on there. And then this rubber puck too, this flex disc, you can see it's cracking apart. That rubber puck, the round rubber puck, is what holds. That's some pretty deep cracks on this side as well. That's what bolts the drive shaft to the transmission. So that's cracking out pretty good. And then the bushing, oh yeah, the bushing for the shifter rod is missing. This is the shifter rod that links like the shifter in the car to the engine. There's supposed to be a bushing around that little like section of rod that's sticking out. There's a little bit of it. You can see it's blue. It's normally blue. You can see a little bit still dangling in there, but the rest of it's completely crumbled away. It would just need new bushings on that rod. It's a common replaced item. Moving to the back of the car, this rear flex disc looks a lot better than the front one. This had to have been replaced in the past. Usually it wears out before the front one does. Look at the axles here. Nothing wrong with the axles. Okay, the hydraulic suspension's been completely deleted. This is where it normally hooks up. I guess there's just a plug in there to plug the hydraulic line. And then the struts, of course, are just traditional springs. Oh, this one doesn't have a plug in it at all, and it's leaking a bit. Not that it matters. Looking over all these bushings, we got some more stuff going on back here. Let's see what all this is for. This is actually dangerously dangling. One of these is for the brake wear sensor. It's actually plugged up on this caliper, which is good. So you'll at least know if the brakes are getting low. These tires are 15% life. Pretty close to replacement on those. You can see this is the wear bar, and it's just about even with the tread. And the brakes are good and healthy still. This tire's about the same. A little higher, that might be 20% or so left. It's only, the inside's the lowest, and then it gets bigger on the outside, which is typical. It's a pretty aggressive change because this tread bar is pretty deep, and this one out here is pretty shallow. But like I said, with the suspension work in the front, if we were to do that, I would adjust the wheel alignment anyways. So this would be checked and adjusted if needed. Just looking over all these suspension bushings. They all look good. Yes. Those are some decently deep cracks up there on that one, but probably not worth addressing yet. Let's see, same with that one, about the same condition. I wouldn't say that's worth being concerned about. These are the main ones that bust, and they have grease in them, and they're not either one on either side, left or right. Nothing else up here. I don't know why this is all out of place, but I'll secure it up in there. Hold on. Okay, they're supposed to be routed like this, clipped into that bracket, then that bracket, and then this bracket. But I can see now the rubber's dry rotting, and this one's completely broke off, like the little rubber section on this bottom hose here is broke off. So, and you can see a crack forming in that one. That one too, you can see the rubber cracking away. And it's just a little like rubber section on the line that holds it into these brackets. But nevertheless, that'll stay up in there. That had to have just been not put back in place by whoever had it apart the last time. Missing one of these caps there. It's supposed to be a cap on the bottom of that like there is on the top one there. But not critical like that, see? But other than that, not really any mechanical issues. The engine seems fine other than one leak. Transmission's not leaking, just that shifter rod bushing missing. We got the flex disc and then some front suspension work, and revived this brake wear sensor. And that's it really. So not too bad on an older car. Oh, this one's broken too. The sensor's there at least. Oh, this wire's nowhere in place either. I don't understand how these broke off. But that broke off, and then this wire's not in the right place either. Let me pop that back one in place before I lower it down. But yeah, other than that, a few items worth addressing at this point. But yeah, I'll get all that stuff quoted out for him, so we can at least see what the price is, and then if he wants to address any of this kind of stuff in the future, he'll know what like price to be expecting for all this kind of stuff. It's mainly a lot of little things, honestly, but I'm sure it's going to add up to a pretty good bit. But nevertheless, I'll get that submitted and then figure out why this roof isn't working now.